we give our final thoughts on the last 5 houses of Halloween Horror Nights 29 and our top 10 list on episode 376 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're glad to have you join us again, continuing this lovely conversation of Halloween Horror Nights that we talk way too much about, but love to do. But yeah, I need to bring some people on with me because they were kind of part of the last episode. So, we got Tracy.
Hello, everyone.
Darren.
How do, Internet?
And, Lee.
His palms are Yetis, knees weak, arms are Yetis, there's vomit on his sweater already, mum's a Yeti, he's nervous but on the surface he looks like a Yeti. Hello everyone!
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
That was just for you, Jillian.
That was great.
It's
How
really
are we doing?
cool. I am excited. I think this week's conversation will be more intense than last week's conversation because looking at the hype lists from these houses, there's some ones I think may have changed substantially.
Wow.
Okay.
We shall see.
Somebody's getting cut.
I think we're going to have to put some Producers Club's bets going on, see what they think. Be interesting. So yeah, let's start off this party with Nightingale's Blood Pit. Let me see. I guess we'll do the rankings first again.
Okay.
This one's kind of split even. So I had it at a 9. Darren, you had it at an 8. Lee at a 9. Tracy at an 8.
Yeah.
Number patterns again. Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. So Tracy, why don't you start this one off?
Well, obviously I wasn't really that bothered about this. I didn't know a lot about it. Obviously we've had Nightingales have been featured before.
Twice, I do believe.
Yeah. And I was very pleasantly blown away by this one. I like my gore and I like history, and this kind of encompassed both. And then going through with the lights on tour.
No, we didn't.
No,
we didn't. We only saw the facade.
That's what let me just change that. Going through the lights on tours, and we stopped there and got to explore the facade.
Which is awesome.
That really amped up my excitement. Obviously I've been through them, but
once. We'd only did it once before
but that
yeah.
amped up my excitement for it because I got up close and personal in daylight with it. I really enjoyed this one. If I was somebody who got scared, I think this one would have really scared me quite a bit because there were some genuine moments in here. I still don't remember a bloody lion.
Yeah, it was there.
Apparently...
Hit me in the face.
Yeah, apparently you couldn't miss it.
Yeah, it was there.
Up and to the left, yes.
But I did.
It slid down like the tanker on Disaster. Actually, from the wall.
Nope.
It was near the end. It was towards the end.
Yeah.
I think it was, again, one of those things like the werewolves in American Werewolf 25. If you hit it wrong, you wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it wasn't lit up, it actually was on a track. That's what I'm saying. It slides down. So the thing would slide down to the bottom of the track, and then kind of his head would come out.
Maybe I just missed it every time.
Yeah,
then.
quite possibly. I think I only ever saw it once.
There were some very dark areas in this. Dark in both senses of the word.
Yeah.
It was a very gory house, and
I love the guy.
I really liked it.
Beating on the guy at the near the front. And he's punching. The guy bent down.
Oh, yes,
punching.
yeah.
I love stuff like that. That was very reminiscent of, I think, one of the opening scenes in Body Collectors at 25 kind of reminded me of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is the house that I mentioned last week that we went through it a couple of times and I was like, eh. And then we went through it, first runs we went through it, I think, on Friday night. And holy there was probably twice the amount of actors that were in it. At any point we'd done it before. We came out and we're like, oh my God, that was crazy intense. Like Tracy said, if we were people that got scared by jump scares, Jesus, we'd have been on the floor.
It was literally turn. It was just somebody in your face the entire way through that run. That was awesome.
Because nearly every actor had the boo hole they were in, had multiple different places to jump out from. I think there was at least 60% of the Nightingale's actors had boo holes that had 3 places they could jump out of, unlike a lot of the other ones. So they get you in 3 different spots. It was awesome.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that too, because I think this is one of those houses that without that many actors, it's not that great.
No.
Right? Because I mean, there's not a lot going on here set-wise. No. But you have, those live actors. I think on one of the runs that we did, that guy in the pit in the front wasn't there, so there's nothing happening there. It was probably during a cast change or something. And there was barely anything there. It was completely dead and boring. But then on other runs, it was just an awesome house as well, with, scare actors coming from everywhere, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, the ladies seem pretty interested in it in our RIP.
Can I just point out that actually I ended up being very disappointed because they were wearing far too much. And their abs were painted on. Disgusting. I demand real abs.
A lot of those.
Baby steps, Tracy. Baby steps.
Well, next time if they do it again, I'll be testing. I'll be licking them to find out if they're real.
But we were calling it the
testing.
We were calling it the Chippendales blood pit.
Not the original crew though, because they're very old.
Yeah.
There was something that confused me. We were sent through. You had to walk in pairs.
Yeah, side by side. That was
side
weird.
by side, and then
as soon as you got in,
5 meters you were single file again.
What was that all
I
about?
didn't understand that.
Yeah, it's in that house area particularly. I think it's just to try to fill in some space.
Okay.
Maybe
because it's got a big
entrance.
entrance.
That first corner. Yeah, and that walkway is big enough for like they said for two by two.
I suppose it pulls the queue line down faster as well.
Yeah.
Smell was awesome.
Oh yeah. Smell.
I thought this house was good. It was maybe a little generic as far as houses go to me. It's something that they've hit on before, like the Coliseum kind of thing. And I don't know if this is always the case, but again, this was another little tidbit from our guy. He said that anytime they like reuse an idea or a reference or something, they like to put a dead horse in there.
Yes.
And as I think back, there usually is. So, and out front here, you had the dead horses. This is where that was. And nobody cared about the dead horses.
I got plenty of pictures of it.
Everybody had problems, but horses, no, everybody's cool with that.
Yeah.
It's funny for me, after doing the scare actor dining,
yes,
and having one of the Nightingales there, and Dr. Frankenstein was like, "Oh, you're eating his brothers and sisters," and that Nightingale was so awesome. But I thought he was funny for some reason. After that dining thing, every time we walked to this house, I would just kind of get a laugh out of them. Like it was just kind of like, "Oh, I ate your brothers and sisters earlier."
It was when they kept shouting over, "Hey, chicken!" and he'd flap his wings.
Yeah.
I wish they would have come up with some way to like convey, like, I don't know if like final scene or maybe through like windows with video screen or something like that to like convey the Coliseum itself. Because you're kind of in the prep areas, you're in like the ready rooms before they go out into the Coliseum to fight. So you're in these tight corridors and everything, which works great for the house. But I just would have liked to see like somehow like a final room, even outside. I know logistically it'd be very hard based on where it's at and everything, but just like something set up to make it like feel like you're going out into the Coliseum or, just give you some idea or some feeling that Coliseum is there. Other than that, it was a lot more solid than I thought it would be, but it didn't really like move me at all in there, I'd say. They had some interesting effects, but for the most part, it felt kind of generic to me.
It's interesting as well. I think it definitely plays into it. The fact that Darren, you've been going for like 15 years or whatever at this point. So you have those memories of stuff they've done previously, whereas this is only the 3rd year we've been. So for us, it's something that we've never seen before. So it is fresh to us. Yeah.
No, and that's cool. And I'm sure for a lot of people, it's that way.
Yeah.
There's too many people that have gone all those years and remember all that stuff. So,
Chris, how many years have you been so far?
Since 2003.
Every year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And I just felt like they could have explained the Nightingales a little better, like gave them like furthered their story a little more.
Yeah.
And like conveyed the fact that they're causing all of this to happen. Like I don't think that they kind of just showed up here and there in the house. To me, it didn't seem like they were in control and they were causing these events, you know? Like if you had like the guy that was punching the one, making his head spin around or whatever. If you had like a Nightingale in there, like goading him on, or like, like a flashing above his head or something like that, just giving you the idea that like they were like in charge and they're the ones that are making all this chaos happen, because that's the story. They showed up in World War I in the trenches and they're the ones that are, driving things up to the next level. And, same thing with this. So
I think that's more of a nerd thing from us Uber fans' point of view, more, isn't it? I think the average person going through probably doesn't even know the story, probably doesn't even care about the story.
No.
So it is difficult.
But I think it's up to creative to keep that going.
Yes.
And if they do, and if they did stress those things, I think it would get more people interested in that and keep those ideas going. Yeah. And with certain people that have left the creative community for Horror Nights and other people that have taken over, I'm not saying that there's any issues with those people, but the people that I know that have left were so dedicated to those stories and continuing those things on, that I just hope that stays.
Just makes for a better house experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the problem is what you're saying, Darren, is potentially that the people coming in are feeding off more of what it's becoming rather than what it was. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
they're leading on what Horror Nights has become rather than trying to keep up with the legacy of where it came from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe that it's something that you have to do, but maybe some of the originals you don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I get you.
Well, let's go over to the next house, and this one, interesting house, Stranger Things. So let's start off with our rankings. I had it pretty high up at number 2. Darren, you had it at 6. Lee, you were another number 2. And Tracy, you were at 5.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
So you guys never did it last year because you weren't there. Darren, we had done last year's, right?
Yes.
So what do you think about this year's? That's in a comparison way.
Yes, I'll use a reference that no one here will get. It is the WWE 2K20 to last year's WWE 2K19.
Actually, I do get that.
You haven't played them,
Oh,
though.
yeah?
No, but I've been reading about it this morning.
Okay.
It was in my newsfeed. I was bored.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Awesome.
I've seen it. I've seen some of the images from it. Oh my god.
Oh, is it with the wonky face
Teeth
featured
off.
things? Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, I've seen that as well recently.
Somebody send me a link after.
Yeah. So there you go. It's a video game that has a lot of problems. That it was a lot better last year. It's a game that comes out every year, and you'd think it's something that would get better every year, but then somehow this year everything got terrible with it. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say that about Stranger Things as well. This house was a big bummer for me. I was very hyped on it, so hyped in fact that we had clothes, so we bought outfits for it.
Yep.
Like we were like really into it. Season 3, I thought it was an awesome season. Fed into the nostalgia, and I was like, oh, if the house follows season 3, it's going to be so good. We got barely any of season 3 in there, and what we did get was weak. I think very weak. A lot of mannequins, a lot of just like scenes that are just going as you walk through, like not even like nothing really even happening. Like that portal scene is this huge, very
so
impactful
bad.
scene. And in there, it's just like 2 dummies hanging on strings, and it's
Yeah, there was demo dogs all up the wall and sort of flashes as they're shooting the guns. I think there was a lot more in there than people realised, but I completely agree. It was
but when they're drawing your focus, when all the light is pointed to this thing, that it's hard to see. And by the 3rd or 4th walkthrough, I did finally notice that stuff around the edges. But
considering that's the iconic end of season 2, it fell a bit flat.
Yeah, how long
can be that energy
for that house?
Yeah.
I
mean, I went through this house a lot with Michelle, and Michelle is like an uber Stranger Things fan, and she was like, I love it because I love Stranger Things. And I think me and Chris, we talked about it, like what Darren's just said there. There was a hell of a lot of mannequins in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then going back to what you said about House of a Thousand Corpses, Darren, how good the transitions between each section was, this was horrible.
Yeah. Like literally that dummy sitting on the floor.
Yeah. It was awful.
It's just so weird because last year the house was amazing. I mean, I loved last year's house. They did an amazing job at it. So it's just do at least that and then go further.
Mm-hmm.
And we, did not get that.
Well, what was I complaining about? The Starcourt Mall scene.
Oh yeah.
It was just like, what?
That was
That was it?
It felt like a Starcourt boutique.
It was so weird.
It was just. I mean, some of it was really good. There was some really good.
The opening scene was awesome. I loved that they started it with the end of season 1.
That was great.
Yes, that was a nice intro to the house.
Yeah, it really was, and then it went downhill from there.
Well, I did enjoy the cabin scene.
Yep.
Yes.
That was kind of a nice scene because that was a really good. There was a mixture of some mannequins. There was some also live actors, and then you have the Mind Flayer kind of breaking in. So that was a really good scene. But also, this is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the longest house they've ever done.
Yeah.
In Halloween Horror Nights.
I don't know. Wasn't it bigger? There wasn't the last Walking Dead house I thought they did was the longest.
I thought American Horror.
I thought I don't know if it was Rich or somebody had mentioned that this was.
To me as well.
I don't know that.
Was it the longest one here? Maybe this year.
It was long
for sure this year.
It was as long as this year.
Yeah, because it was a double house, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was any longer than 25 or 25 presents or
it felt
maybe the amount of rooms. Maybe the amount of rooms that they split up. I'm not sure.
Will over the sink was amazing.
Yeah, I did like that.
That was good. But I said the mannequin in front of the TV, I kept walking past, going, what the hell? It was a weird shaped room. There was too many bits where I was having to go through and go, where the hell am I? Because there was nothing jumping out to identify what I was in.
Yeah.
I was quite disappointed in it.
Like the upside down tunnel scene, we did it a couple of times and there was spraying sort of stuff around and there was people popping out with guns, and then the last few runs through they were just kind of popping out and pretending to shoot, and it wasn't, the atmosphere had gone from it. It was just very flat.
Yeah. It's a shame. It had so much potential.
And a lot of, I don't know if we were just missing the scares, but a lot of the, I guess, demodogs coming out the wall were just off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of static figures, like Darren said. There was a lot of it.
Yeah, it was a bummer. I hope that this was, because they did season 3 here, that's it. Like they won't ever do like a proper season 3 house, because if they did a proper season 3 house and they did everything that was in there, they could do a really cool house with it. Like I think we all were anticipating, but
I mean,
I didn't hate it.
No, and it's Tracy and I have talked about it. Like, we like season 2, we like season 3, but we both agree that season 1 is still the best season they've done.
For me,
I disagree. I think season 3 is the best.
Yeah, 1 and 3 are just a hard, really close tie for me. Yeah, but 3 I've actually watched multiple times.
I don't know. I'm kind of over it, but then again, I'm kind of over TV at the moment, so that could be with me.
Yeah, I think with it being the longest house and the weight that it was. It was, again, I enjoy walking. Again, I don't get scared. So it's not like you're disappointed because you didn't get any scares in it, because that's irrelevant. No,
I want those moments though.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I got like all those moments.
Yes, I have said to you that my ranking's going to come down, the middle houses are going to come down to very specific moments, and again, this didn't really have any.
No.
Yeah. I think the one thing that this house did do was eat up a bunch of lines so we can enjoy the other houses.
Yeah, actually, that might be why their lines were so short for everything else, to be honest. Like this and
we're eating up the lines.
And a little bit of spillover for Ghostbusters, but not even that much, because Ghostbusters didn't even get that crazy.
Oh, yeah, because that reminds me, Stuart Mallet, you still owe me a drink, by the way.
Oh.
Because I do believe I predicted that Stranger Things would still have longer waits than Ghostbusters, and it did. So I will hold you to that, buddy. You can just PayPal me some money and I'll get one in February.
Why the big drop?
Next time we see you,
I'll bring you some rum punch.
Apparently we're going to Big Fire, but he doesn't know when. He's missing a bit. Anyway.
Yeah. A little unfortunate, to be honest. Good house last year, this year.
That's what's disappointing, that we missed that first one for the season that we would have appreciated probably more, and then to go in like a mashup. Yeah, it just... it was just random scenes that didn't really. It's like the Dustin scene with Dart on the floor, and he just kind of ran out going, "Ah!" And I was like, what the hell? And then I saw someone comment in some group the other night. It's like, oh, did they take they were either complaining that they took the bus out, or there wasn't a bus to start off with, and now there's a bus. And like, no, the bus has always been there.
Uh-huh.
And that speaks to Darren, us saying that the transitions weren't great because you didn't, unless you really looked around, you didn't realise you were in a bus.
I will be honest, it was about our third walkthrough before I realised I was it. Because I turned around to you and I went, oh, we're in a bus.
Yeah.
Like a really wide, big bus.
Yeah.
Like way too big than any bus than I've ever been on.
But to me, it looked like it was full of filing cabinets.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
what?
it did look like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that house made me
one
realise how quickly those bits are recycling, because it was like every 10 seconds, we are in a bus and we are going to die. We are in the bus and and it was literally every 10 seconds.
You can see why the scare actors are like kind of soulless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, because these audio cues, I mean, running them over and over again, it's just like, ugh, it will deaden anyone.
It can, but the audio clips they used didn't give them anything to work with, I think, for a lot of it.
Right.
I feel like we're being really down on it, and it wasn't that bad. It just wasn't that good.
There was some...
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not that it wasn't...
We wanted it better.
It wasn't that it wasn't that good. Just a few scenes, a few key scenes weren't executed as well as they could be.
Yeah.
That's more what it is. And because of that, that made it jarring, pulled you out of the scenes. So getting back into it was a bit harder.
Like Nightingale's, it needed more actors in it.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
And you would think they would chuck more actors at their, potentially second biggest property at the event. Maybe first. Seems
especially
weird.
in such a character-driven thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was straight up bad.
Yeah.
To me, bad.
No.
Bad.
Yeah.
Again, it comes down to Ghostbusters that they were leaning on people wanting to walk through Stranger Things.
I'd still go through it again.
Without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. At least they leave you off with Never-Ending Story, and it gets your attitude back up a little bit. Going, okay, well,
it leaves you off by literally outside.
Yeah.
Not even in the house at all.
That's true. Yeah.
That was another thing that was like, come on. Could have ended with a walkthrough of it. It would have been great if you just all of a sudden it's just like rainbows and unicorns as you're walking through the last little bit, like one last little room. It's like you're walking through a Lisa Frank catalog.
Yeah.
But no, that would have been cool. But I think they definitely dropped the ball everywhere.
Yeah. We do know there was apparently references to next year in that house.
Oh yeah, we almost missed that.
Could be, yes. Again, if our tour guide was to be believed, there were, in that cabin scene. If you're going this weekend too, you can look for them. There are some VHS tapes, and some of them weren't around in the 80s.
Well, I cannot wait for the Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon House at Halloween Horror Nights.
No.
I want that Dr. Seuss house.
Well, don't forget in Ghostbusters there was a book, and it was Yoga for Dummies. That's going to be a house next year. We're telling you.
That is my worst nightmare, Yoga for Dummies.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be mannequins in yoga poses.
Oh my God, that's creepy, actually. If they did that right, that would be creepy.
Downward dog, anyone?
But in all seriousness, I will say, I think next year you'll learn to be nice to bees.
Candyman.
I would be very, very, very happy.
I need to say, I haven't seen that film for an awfully long time. I think I've only ever seen it once.
What? I know that. I know it hasn't been watched in this house.
There was a 13 Ghosts video in there as well.
There was. I think that would work very well.
That would probably be the ultimate house for me. Next to House of a Thousand Corpses, if they pulled that one off with all the 13 ghosts in the house, it would be quite a undertaking as far as costuming and makeup goes. As far as that goes, but you only really need them. So
next year,
I think it would work out.
Really interesting to see what they can pull out. That's going to be those iconic properties next year.
Exciting.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I would be like like I was with Ghostbusters this year, and I can't really think of anything, to be honest. Scream, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we're still on this year, so
I know.
Yeah, we're already doing our hype list for next year on this episode.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along. Next house, we have Universal Monsters. And rankings for this house, Tracy, you're at a 3. Lee, you had it at a 10.
Ooh.
That's 1-0. Darren, you had it at a 4, and I had it at a 6.
I can't wait to get to our actual lists, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Lee, since you had it at a 10, what do you think?
I'm going to show my hand, and it just didn't do it for me. Again, we did this as the Behind the Screams tour, and it just didn't do it for me at all.
Wow.
I can't quite put my finger on why, but it really didn't.
You aren't a fan, though?
I'm not. It had some decent moments in it. I did like the Frankenstein room with the Twitcher. The one effect I was really looking forward to seeing, they completely arsed up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it was the
Hunchback.
yeah, with you're supposed to be up in like the bell tower, and they did it so well in Jack Presents 25 Years of Monsters and Mayhem that I stood there for as long as I could trying to figure out how the hell they did that scene. And I think it was was it Gothic, Darren? Am I right? No.
Yeah.
Is that what it was in the Gothic section? Yeah, in this, the mirror was dirty. It was so obvious how they did it. They really dropped the ball on it. But overall, it just, I don't know, maybe it goes back to what we said about this being so close to Graveyard Games, kind of merging with that a little bit. But it just didn't do it for me.
See, this house, I actually enjoyed this house a lot. I thought it was the way they got all the monsters in there. That was awesome. One of my favorite parts, just because I love that creepiness, was entering, I think it was the Phantom of the Opera area, and just those organs playing.
Yeah.
That did it for me. That kind of made the house good for me, just because I liked it. Was very loud. It had that like dark tone, that dark note to it, and it just kind of set this old creepy vibe inside this house, even though it was just one area. But it just kind of that whole thing did a little mixture for me. And I'm like, okay, I'm on board. I like it. So yeah, it was a good house. And the Frankenstein was nice too.
Oh, that's the one thing I thought the Frankenstein looked terrible.
Thank God someone else said it.
I thought like the actual Frankenstein's monster himself looked really bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Like as far as his face goes and everything, yeah.
Huh.
And just proportionally too, he was just like a weird, like stickly. I don't know.
Yeah, and short.
They need to hire Joe. He's like, yeah,
Joe
towered above him.
See, this is another one we went through lights on.
Yes.
And again, stunningly beautiful. I took some lovely photos in there. And there was some real nice touches. I did enjoy it. But some areas fell short. I really liked the Wolfman, where he's on where he leaps forward with the bungee.
It wasn't a bungee, but like
that
on
sort of thing.
Yeah.
I liked that, and I would loiter to make sure I got that every time.
I would have preferred just a Wolfman house. In fairness, I'm a werewolf fan. I think, anyway.
And we'll say Tracy is a big fan, opposed to Lee.
Yes.
Who's not a fan of Universal Classic Monsters. So.
The Hunchback, agreed. The mirror, that effect was ruined. I think once I saw the Hunchback and he was just stood there instead of using his bungee cord because he was supposed to come down and then slowly go back up, and I never saw that effect at all.
No.
I only saw him once. I really liked the effect in the Phantom of the Opera where the wallpaper where it disappeared and he was behind.
Was that flack? Did we get told it was flack?
I can't remember.
Or flack, the actual term for that.
But I only caught that once. Every time I went past it was wallpaper.
I think I saw it a couple of times. It's still never been used as well as it was in 25 years.
The mirror room was a little confusing as you went through past him though. But
yeah.
no, I'm not. I mean, obviously, I know about the Phantom of the Opera. The original movie, I'm not very familiar with at all. I think I've only
we
ever seen
didn't
it
watch
once
it before
years
we
ago.
came out because I couldn't find it.
Right.
The Dracula scene. I don't know. There's something off about that.
I agree with you on that. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I couldn't put my finger on it. It was just.
Well, the poor guy was just worn out from people asking him for money because it's a meme. It's like from a comic book. It's like Dracula owes me money.
Ugh.
So everybody's like going through like asking him for his money, and he's just like, because I saw somebody do it in front of me, and he just like shook his head. He's like,
Not really.
kept going.
I do think the overall interpretations of the monsters, because it was supposed to be like modern classic monsters, they were a little odd. Like you say, Frankenstein was a bit dodgy. Dracula was a bit odd.
Dracula didn't look too bad to me. I liked him. But yeah, Frankenstein did look really bad.
Yeah, that whole section, I was quite excited, especially after seeing Lights On, and that left me a bit cold. Actually, that section. The creature. I actually like that. Barring one thing,
Do not mention it.
I am mentioning it.
Oh, you better, because it ruined the whole thing for me.
It did, and it made my night.
What, ruining it for Darren?
Yes,
Oh my
did.
God.
It was the best thing ever.
Now you know why I hate her.
So, you gotta get your jollies somewhere. So as we went the Lights On tour, it was pointed out that from Stranger Things, Dustin's turtle, who was taken out of his tank to make room for Dart, had now found a home with the creature
in the Black Lagoon.
in the Black Lagoon. And I looked down, and that poor bugger was a tortoise, and they are not aquatic. Therefore, it had drowned. I was very annoyed. So you can keep your dead dog. It was the tortoise for me. And I pointed it out to Darren, didn't I, Darren?
Yes, you did.
And what happened?
I was just, oh my God. Just that they would miss a detail like that, first of all. And then it's just, that poor tortoise.
And what else happened?
What am I missing here?
And then I was looking down at the tortoise very closely. And I got jump scared, like legit jump scared for like the first time in a long time, to like where I like went down to the ground. Like,
wow. Awesome.
His
I missed
feet
it.
left the floor.
Yes.
I
Up and then
it
down.
was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was seriously one of the best moments of my life. I'm sorry, Darren, but it was brilliant.
Because I was so focused on the tortoise.
But that's the perfect distraction scare.
It was brilliant.
Right? Oh man, it worked so well. And yeah, I was actually really happy about it too, because I don't ever get scared anymore. So it was fun.
But I did think that section was actually very well done.
Yes, in
That was
fairness,
my favourite
the
section of
creature
the whole
section
house.
was
It was
probably
lovely.
the best bit, yeah.
Yes.
For being the worst monster, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gave him more than he deserved.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm more of like in the middle of you two. Like I'm kind of a very loose fan of the classic monsters. I like them as an idea more than the actual movies. I'll be honest. But I thought the house was cool. I liked the modern take on a lot of them. The Hunchback, I have no idea. I never saw him. I saw his feet one time, like dangling there, because I think his like rig wasn't working right, and he was trying to get down, and it just wasn't working.
I never thought
Maybe that. And then the Wolfman, like I said, was cool coming out of like the Talbot grave. That's why I remember that, because I remember looking up and seeing Talbot, and then the Wolfman popping out from that grave. So, so that was kind of cool. It reminded me of 25. Just kind of harken back to that a little bit, because that's where Wolfman was there as well, in the grave. I really liked the Phantom of the Opera, like the devil mask interpretation of him.
Yeah.
I thought that was really wicked. You didn't see enough of it though.
no.
That one was really quick.
Yeah, that was behind. That was the bit where the wallpaper changed, wasn't it? I saw that once.
Yeah, they use the scrims, and they use a lot of flashing lights in the middle part where the mirrors were. So you'd only see him like in flashes in the mirror and those kind of things. And it was like, I felt like you should see him in more detail, because one time, like I think our last walkthrough of it, he did, like, one of the actors like popped out on the side and like took the mask off and just stood there for a second. And when you got to see it, it was just really cool. But you didn't always get that, jump scare when that happened. So
Yeah.
Overall, I actually thought it was like really solid. I enjoyed it. And the Frankenstein, even though the Frankenstein himself looked really bad, I loved the scene of him getting revenge on Dr. Frankenstein, having him on the table and hitting the electricity, like, and then just going through there. That was like the spine ripping scene in Body Collectors in the previous years, where I would just sit there and wait for it to happen and then like just cheer. And then like I look back and Frankenstein's cheering and I'm cheering with him. I'm like, yeah, that was great. Having a great time with that. And then the poor Frankenstein at the very end that has to just pop out from the curtain. I felt so bad for him because he was
really
just
misplaced.
he's just like, "Buh." All right.
Well, we got told as well that this house had something in it that they'd never done before, and that was the last bride that jumps out as apparently had a speaker in her chest.
Oh yeah.
I'm not convinced.
It was loud in there.
It was definitely loud.
It sounded like it came
been
from down on the floor behind her. Yeah, I'd heard from multiple people that it was supposed to be from a speaker embedded in a chest. Not embedded in a chest.
I was going to say that's a bit extreme.
Dark.
Yeah.
But
For
yeah.
minimum wage, it's crazy.
Cool. All right. Let's take a quick ad break and we'll be right back.
Mouse and Muggle Travel Company, our services are completely free to you. We don't just do Universal. We can do Disney. We can actually do anything. I don't know if anybody knows that. We can do anything. We can book absolutely anything, and it's super easy. We have a website. Just go to mouseandmuggle.com, and we have a link there for a free quote request. You just fill it out. That email comes straight to me, and either Robin or I will handle it, or if we're a little bombarded, then we'll send you off to one of our expert agents. But we'll take good care of you. So reach out to us at any time.
Welcome back. So we are coming up to our last two houses and then our complete 1 through 10 rundown. Now coming up next is Us. So I had this house up at an 8, or down at an 8, actually. Darren, you had it at the bottom of the barrel at 10. Lee, you had it at 7, and Tracy, you had it at a 6. So what'd you guys think? Did you get 5 on it?
It definitely went up for me, big time. Since I will be positive on it, I'll go first. I think.
I was assuming that we're going to be negative, but
oh, well, I'm going to be positive for sure, because I had it. Yeah, like I said, it was the lowest of expectations going in, and they met them. No, I'm just kidding. They exceeded them. I thought it was great personally. I really liked the eeriness of the house. You had to hit it right. This is one of those ones, unfortunately. Like, if you didn't see the whole like scene play out, then some of them were kind of weird. But the scenes that were really cool every time, no matter what, were the I think like the other lake house, their friend's lake house, Tim Heidecker's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that lake house scene I think was solid every time he went through it. I thought that, like going through their cabin and the little kid with the mask on.
If you saw him, because it was only because someone pointed it. I'd whinged to Chris that I hadn't seen him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
One of the
really?
nights we went through with Chris, and it was Chris that pointed him out to me.
Oh, I saw him every time.
Once I saw him.
All the kids in this house actually were strange, because I know everybody's over 18 to be a scare actor at Horror Nights, so it's really weird because they look like kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I think everybody was like, the casting was done really well.
Yes.
I think that they were probably given very strict stage instructions as to what they were supposed to do, and to do over and over again. Like for example, like, the lady that stood up in the rabbit room, that like kind of sat on the like square stool, stood up, walked around, and then, kind of, like turned around and went back. just those kind of things. Like they were very set into what they were supposed to do, their turns and everything like that. And I think it was just like a really cool, like atmospheric, creepy house to go through. And I personally, I really enjoyed it, and it jumped way up for me.
I have to agree with you on that. I think this is one of those houses you have to watch the movie to really appreciate.
Oh, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't watch the movie, it doesn't make sense, right? This is more of to me, like a psychological type thriller house where, again, if you know what happens in the movie, which I really enjoyed this movie, and then you see it getting acted out, inside this house, and they did an amazing job at executing that. It really kind of messes with you in a different way. You're not getting these jump scares so much. You're just kind of getting that weird, eerie, creepy feeling like, oh, okay, I know why that's happening, and that makes me feel a little uncomfortable or something like that.
It was incredibly atmospheric.
Yeah, and this is it. It was nice to have a house like this at Horror Nights. That's a little bit different from every other type of house that was there. Yeah.
But unsettling, yes, and a lot of eye contact in this as well. It's like that's what they relied on to creep you out, is just to like lock eyes with you as you walk through. It's just creepy.
As you're looking across the room with Tracy's look on her face, a total confusion of us. She's not quite sure how she feels.
I feel like I've missed something.
It was one of those. The first few runs, it's one of those that's actually, since coming home and thinking about it more, it's got under my skin a little more than it did when we did it. For all the entrance to it, like the actual corridor you walk into with like the Christmas lights up and that tethered mix of I've Got Five on it playing.
Yeah.
Really sets the scene for it. It's at that point, it's not going to be a scary house. It's just going to have this weird, unnerving quality about it, which it really did.
Yeah.
And I've said already that a lot of my list is governed by specific moments in the houses, and this had one. The kill in the lake house, under the balcony where the girl comes out and then the one grabs hold of it from behind, and it's like the record scratch, and then slits her throat. Is awesome. I love that
cool.
so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a standout kill of the entire house.
Well, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's the more I think about it, the more it's got under my skin a little bit. I'm not saying it's leapt up loads, but I've just moved it up 3 places on my list.
It's kind of like the movie. Like the more you think about it, it's like, oh, okay.
I think for me, I needed to see the movie more than once before going into it.
Actually, the more I think about the movie, the more I get frustrated with the movie itself. But the house I loved.
See, I really loved the film. We really enjoyed it.
I really did.
We watched it with our oldest, and all 3 of us loved it.
I must admit, walking into this house, I looked up before you go inside,
I know you're going to say.
and I just went, oh, and face-palmed myself mentally, because it was kind of like, well, there's the whole premise of the film spelt out, and it was in the film, and I didn't even see it. It says, find yourself. Right at the beginning. And it's the same in the film. And I was just, every time I walked through, I was just like, you dozy cow.
Like, again, sort of what we talked about with Ghostbusters and Killer Clowns. It was a perfect representation of that film.
It absolutely was.
It really was.
Yeah.
I would have liked real rabbits, though.
Yeah.
It was weird, and again, it's like we've said of a lot of them, if you hit it wrong, there was a lot of just people walking around.
You see, for me, that's what I got a lot of the time.
Yeah, and that's the problem with it.
So much. Every time I would... yeah. I think I only saw every scene once.
Yeah, and it's difficult. That's what I said, like, where Nightingales is so up there for me, because I think even on a half bad run, you're still going to get a ton of action in it. Whereas this, if you hit it wrong, there's not an awful lot going on in it. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. Again, we've talked about needing those down houses to give you a respite from the jump scares all the time. But if you hit it wrong, you literally hit nothing. It was a lot of just kind of, okay.
And that's kind of what I came out. But then having seen, watched people's YouTube videos, run through, yeah, I don't know, I'm still digesting it. That's the one house I'm still digesting.
Strange one.
Yeah.
It is odd. It, like Chris said, it is like nothing else at the event this year.
Yeah, and I came away from the event with it kind of like way down my list.
Bottom of my list. It was like, it was crap.
But it wasn't that I hated it. I just didn't connect with it. But I think it's thinking about it and digesting
it gets under your skin.
It's because I didn't hit those markers.
Yeah.
And because, as I say, it was very atmospheric. It was creepy.
Like the first bit you go in with, like the mirror maze and the owl and the creepy. It could have been better. I think they missed a trick with where you go through the first house with them when they're inside and the tethered versions of them are kind of up the driveway. They kind of dropped the ball a little bit on that, but I think it definitely had some good moments in it.
I wanted to see more of the little boy.
Yeah, me too. That's the one thing I wanted to see more of.
Yeah, a little more of that. More of the whole like opposite family that was more like intense and violent.
Yeah.
Maybe using them for like a jump scare a couple of sequences would have been a little bit better. Yeah. Which they did, but they had the father come from behind you, and the way they rush you through the house, you're always like looking forward.
Yes.
So a lot of times you didn't even look back and see him at all. So I felt like he probably got really disappointed most of the times he was there, like trying to scare people and not being able to. So
yeah,
cool. All right, coming up to house number 10.
Can't believe we're at the end.
I know, it's crazy, but we must discuss the Yeti.
Oh yes, we must.
Terror of the Yukon.
Yeah.
So I had this house at a 7. Darren, you had it at a 9. Lee, you were up to 4. And Tracy, bottom of the barrel at 10.
You're all heathens, is all I'll say.
I had it down at number 10 because I've seen how these things can go before. And when they missed the mark, they missed the mark.
Yeah.
And this one didn't miss the mark. It hit every single one.
Yeah.
It
was definitely a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Blew me away.
Kind of like the underdog, or not the underdog, but like,
the Under Yeti.
Unexpected. Yeah, Under Yeti. There you go.
Yeah.
It might have been unexpected for you.
Oh, sure. You only had it number 4.
But I said it was my most anticipated original.
Yeah.
And it's not like the sequence was bad in Slaughter Cinema or anything. It just felt like and it was probably just because of how speculation works and everything. It just felt like it was a last minute thing. And it probably wasn't, but it wasn't on the spec list to begin with, I don't think. It was like one of those ones that was added in at the last minute. So
for a last minute one, they blew it out the water. It was unbelievable. The cabin scene, the amount coming out after the first run, I can't remember who we'd gone through with. And nobody had noticed that there was a body.
There'll have been Holly and Rich and Andy, I suppose.
And I was like, did you see the hunter's body in the antlers? What? And then there was 3 bodies in that room.
I've only seen one of them.
There was the one that the Yeti was taken to pieces. There was one on the floor and one
I saw the one
in the antlers on the wall.
Yeah.
And the attention to detail, which it still blows me away because most of that detail is never seen because of the lighting.
Yeah.
I think two of my favorite kind of scares or pieces of the room. One was when the Yeti has his arm through the guy.
Yes,
see, you spoiled.
Yeah,
awesome.
That is the best moment at Halloween Horror Nights 29.
Yeah.
And they both know it too.
Hands
down.
Yeah.
Doing
hands
it as
down.
a performance going, here you go.
Hands
Enjoy
down,
this.
hands through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also like the one where, and it's a really good scare, where the guy,
I know what you're going to say.
The old guy just kind of hanging around the background. You're just looking at him like, what? You're just staring at him, seeing if he's going to do anything. And then out of nowhere, the door pops open. It's a Yeti.
I believe
I love that.
That if someone hadn't have told me, because I missed it the first few times through, if I can't remember who it was that told me about it, might have been you, Darren, that told me about that scene. If I hadn't known that was coming and actually caught it, I think that might have actually got a jump out of me. because it was done so well.
I don't know if I did because I don't even know what y'all are talking about exactly.
There's a section you come round the corner and in, and there's like a porch and a wooden fence goes down the side and round the back, and there's a trapper guy there who kind of looks at you and
to his lips.
puts his finger to his lips, and the Yeti comes out from the side through what looks like a fence, not a door.
Okay.
Like a proper bang open.
Oh,
it's a really good scare.
It is.
I don't know if it got me or not, but I remembered it. It was
Someone told me about it before, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen that. And obviously then I knew it was coming, so I made sure I caught it the next time, but obviously I knew it was coming.
Yeah. Well, it's the nature of it. You can go through a house 20 times and not see one specific thing just because of how it hits. So
it was another tactile house as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
Can I go yet?
Oh my God, I thought you were. You haven't shut up for.
Oh my God. Right? This is everything I want a Halloween Horror Nights house to be. It was absolutely gorgeous from start to finish. It really was. It was body collectors.
Yeah.
That house was gorgeous. This was perfect from start to finish. Like Chris said, 2 best moments in any house this year, with the Yeti shoving his hand through the guy's middle, and then that there. Having the Yeti up the top with the swinging arm down underneath.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, it was... And to top it off, it was the last house we went through of Halloween Horror Nights 29. Me and my other girl, Michelle, because she knew it was like, that was our house. So we went through that last time, no one in front of us, no one behind us, and we waited for every single scene, and it was amazing. I say that word a lot. I mean it more than ever. It was amazing.
All capitals, exclamation marks.
Absolutely.
It was stunning.
Yeah.
Everything I want an original or even an IP house to be at Halloween Horror Nights, it was perfect.
Yeah, it was good. It was
rather good.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. That was solid. No, it was cool.
Like see why you've got it on your lists.
The scenery, setting, and everything was definitely very cool. The costumes were good. Some of them were a little cheesy, but I think that was the point.
Yeah,
like it was supposed to be like off, spun off of that Slaughter Cinema house, so it was like a B movie kind of thing. Yeah. The Canada setting, everything that was kind of fun. Yeah, just all in all, like you said, those moments that were solid were great. It was another one where if you kind of got you didn't get a good walkthrough of it, then you missed a lot. It was you could get a really bad walkthrough of it, I'm saying. And I think part of that was due to the change outs on this one. Like they had to like just take everybody out and like walk them all out and then walk everybody in. It wasn't like they did like partial set changes or anything. So if you got in during a cast change, you missed a lot.
Because we got stopped just before, didn't we? Just going in, we got stopped while they did a cast change, and they wouldn't let us in until it was done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think I was like the first one through when we went through that time, and they were like getting set up still, and like I was missing stuff. Maybe you guys got it better in like the back of the.
You're still putting his hat up.
Yeah, exactly. They're like getting into their spots, but yeah, that was like the one I walked through and like saw nothing all the way through. So yeah, that happened.
It was awesome.
I know. It was all right.
It wasn't all right. It was amazing.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
It's the only house I've said. It's the only house they're all solid this year. For me, it's the only house that was fit to have graced Halloween Horror Nights 25. If you'd have took Walking Dead out, and put Yeti in, would have made that event even better.
Okay.
Sweet.
Well, we've reached the end.
We have.
The 10th house has been discussed. The moment of truth is upon us.
I'm excited.
And what I love about this is I'm almost sure none of us have the same number 1 house.
No. I know for 3 for definite.
I feel like even our top 3s are going to be pretty different. Well, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. So let's do this. We'll go one at a time. 10 to 1. And make any comments you feel along the way. And Tracy, start us off.
Number 10. Stranger Things.
Whoa.
I don't think I need to go into it.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Yeah, we acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Darren, number 10.
Stranger Things.
Ooh.
Lee, I'm going to leave you for last. So,
Because everyone knows.
yeah. My number 10, Graveyard Games.
Really?
Ooh.
10 for me.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
Like I said, I just was not memorable for me. And you're going to probably be weirded out about my top 3 too. So what's your number 10, Lee?
Monsters.
What is
Wow.
And it wasn't. When I originally did my list, it wasn't.
Okay.
Wow.
Tracy,
Sorry.
number 9.
Us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Until yesterday, it was number 10. But it
At
hopped
least
up a spot.
We got it to go up one. Okay.
We did.
Darren?
Nightingale's Blood Pit.
Oh, Darren.
Okay.
You just shut up. That's his opinion. He's entitled to it.
Doesn't mean it's right.
My
I
number
think so.
Nightingale's Blood Pit.
You say yours was Nightingales as well?
Yeah.
What the
Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad.
Bloody Americans.
They have no idea, these people, do they?
Lee?
No culture.
My number 9, Stranger Things. Sorry, Michelle.
Tracy? Number 8.
Number 8, Depths of Fear.
Oof.
Interesting.
Darren?
Right there with you. Depths of Fear.
Interesting.
Ooh. Stranger Things is my number 8. Lee?
Depths of Fear.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's crazy.
Might not be part of this podcast too long. Tracy, number 7.
Number 7 is Classic Monsters.
It's not Classic Monsters.
Universal Monsters. Well, when I was making the list there, you should read them out so I could type them down. You said Classic Monsters because I typed everything you said, so shove it. I mean, yeah.
Northern couple
Anyway.
bicker.
Universal Monsters.
2 Americans don't know what's going on.
What?
Problem is they do know what's going on now.
All right, Darren, you're number 7.
Yeti, Terror of the
Oh,
Yukon.
right. No, you're right. There is going to be less people on this show. How the hell, Darren? I am so disappointed in you right now.
Yeah, well,
Well,
it is what it is.
I think I'll be withholding those gold bars.
Sorry, Darren wants to quick changes.
I've got new, extremely expensive sources.
Wait, that was number 7 we're on. Okay. My number 7 is Ghostbusters.
Whoa.
Yeah, it wasn't bad again. And when we're getting to this middle of the list, I think we talked about it before, where there's kind of close runs between houses.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ghostbusters
Yeah.
is kind of there because I like other things about other
Yeah,
houses.
no, I
I
get
think
it.
I was more surprised than I should have been. Yeah. Sorry.
All right, Lee, number 7.
My number 7 is Us.
Okay.
And that was bottom at one point, by the way.
All right, I'll work you guys both. All right, Tracy, number 6.
Graveyard Games.
Really? That low? That surprises me.
It was my number 9, though.
Okay. Darren, number 6.
If I sound a little far away from the mic, it's because I'm cowering away from Tracy.
Oh, am I withholding Caramax as well now?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
No! You break my heart.
What does that have any like repercussions, Tracy?
I don't love him anymore.
Okay.
That was a big one.
He still gets gold bars, right?
No.
No, that I already lost.
He's
those
already
for
lost those.
Yeti.
He's lost Caramax now as well.
Yeah, if Yeti did that, I don't know what Killer Clown.
All the
We're
Caramax.
playing for Pickled Onion Monster Munch next.
Yeah, oh no.
Oh, I forgot about those. It might be Caramax and Monster Munch.
People listening have no idea what's going on. Why are they talking about
Things.
food?
Inside joke after
Oh,
inside
Yes, these are all the things they bring me that I love.
So I promise I did not cheat off your paper, but my number 6 is also Killer Clowns.
Yep, you're not getting any either.
That's why I was asking.
Dang.
Tut, tut, tut.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
All right.
In fact,
Lee.
I'm just going to make videos of me eating them all in front of you.
Are you ready?
Are you heading for a divorce?
My number 6 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, don't. Nope, don't.
Oh, wow. That was interesting.
Well, let's see what I withhold from you.
You want it just as much as I do.
You can't buy it on Amazon.
I think Lee will be thinking a lot about that clown lady.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we get.
Oh my god.
Okay. We are halfway through. Number 5, Tracy.
No, I'm not playing anymore. That's it.
Okay.
Number 5, Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Darren, number 5.
I'm with you. Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. All right. Number 5 for me is Universal Monsters.
Wow.
Yeah. And what is yours, Lee?
Mine is also Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Cool.
kind of figured that for you.
What puts it above Killer Clowns is
Rub it in.
Ghostbusters. Literally, that's it.
Yeah. Same.
Okay.
A little bit of nostalgia kicked it over for me.
Number 4, Tracy.
House of 1,000 Corpses.
See, Darren's withholding.
But it was very, very close
Something.
with the number 3.
Yeah.
Very
No
close.
butterscotch toffee anymore.
Yeah. You
Get
can
your
stick
Toll House elsewhere.
emergency.
Well, I
Yes.
won't bring any fudge in February then. So that hurts you too.
Wait now.
He's never had it, so he doesn't know what he's missing.
Well,
True.
it's better than the real stuff. Not that it isn't real stuff, but you know what I mean. Anyway,
Where are we at? Number 4, Darren.
Us.
Wow.
Wow. That's interesting.
Mm.
Okay. Because also, same thing for me. Us.
Okay.
Lee.
My number 4 is Graveyard Games.
ooh.
Okay. So we've come to the top 3. And I think here we should give our 3, 2, 1s.
Okay.
Here's where the arguments will occur. Here's where the fighting will ensue.
Oh, no, it's already done. Darren's already killed me, so it's irrelevant.
Okay, so maybe not much fighting. Listen for the bonus episode where we fight more. Tracy, start us off with your top 3, starting from number 3.
Well, my number 3 was originally my number 8. It's Nightingales.
Okay.
Okay.
So who would like to hazard a guess at what my number 2 is then?
Really?
Oh
no.
He's just looking down his list.
Number 1.
So
Oh, yeah.
So my number 2 is
Yeti.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
What?
Ah!
What?
Yeah.
What the? You've said
You're not
all
even
the way
allowed to have gold
through,
bars.
all the way through that event, you said that was your number 1.
I think
it's
the
called-
Kyoto brothers just messaged us.
Yeah.
It's because they didn't walk me through the house like they promised.
Wow.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
am shocked.
I played my cards very close to my chest. It was very, very close, but Yeti just took it
Wow.
because it was just
I live with the woman,
Stunning.
and even I'm shocked. Because
Yeah.
all the way through that event, even the days after before we came home, it was all Killer Clowns. That's all she could talk about.
still is. But Yeti just pips it.
Wow.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Very much.
Okay.
Nice.
Darren, top 3.
All right. Well, my number 3 is Universal Monsters.
What? I don't know you anymore, Darren.
So it was really solid. Again, I like the different takes on it, and I loved Frankenstein, giving it to Dr. Frankenstein, killing him on the table. That was great. Number 2, Graveyard Games. Despite the cheesy ending, to me personally, I thought it just had some of the best visuals I've seen in a house. Like you said, those doll, like all the like baby fetus kind of doll things with their heads all jumping up at the same time, and them using just like air compressor effects to do that, to make it like even more chattery and creepy, you know. And the urns and, you know, just the overall ambiance of it, I just loved. And then, of course, number 1, House of 1,000 Corpses.
That's no
accurate-
surprise.
Yes, the most accurate, and like I said, the best run through I've ever had on a house. So
Darren and I had a conversation coming out of my number 1. And I was like, that is without doubt my favourite house this year. And he's like, I like mine with a few more corpses.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. My top 3. And this one, it's an unpopular opinion, but number 3, House of a Thousand Corpses.
Mm-hmm.
It's an all-around great house. We talked about that. It was great.
I know what Chris is. No, I don't know whether I do.
My number 2 is Yeti.
Really? Oh my God, Chris! I can't believe what your number 1 is.
I said it's gonna be unpopular.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Number 2 is Yeti. That was number 7 on my original list, and number 1 on my list is Depths of Fear.
Wow.
And the reason why I picked it as number 1, not because it had the best story or anything like that. I just loved walking through that house. That was one of the most enjoyable houses this year for me, going through and seeing them use so many different things in a house. Like, I know it's cheesy to have that running water in there, but it gave it a different aspect of a house. Seeing that in there, you felt like you were somewhere else. The use of screens in the beginning to kind of try to tell you a story, that was great. The lighting at the end with that last fish monster, I love that. The electricity in the room. There was just a lot of different aspects and pieces, and I just thought it was a well-executed house in reference to doing all that together. Now, the story could have been a little bit different, a little better, sure, but Depths of Fear was one of my more funner houses to walk through this year, and I had no problem going through it over and over and over again.
I like having Chris on the show. It's a very different opinion than the rest of us. Like, a very different opinion than the rest of us. We've all got that at 8. Chris got it at 1.
Yeah. So I'm looking for 3 new show hosts if anybody else is in. All right.
Wow.
Last, but definitely not least.
Least.
You get it?
Least.
My number 3 is Nightingale's Blood Pit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Again, it was awesome. Like, just the amount of actors in it. I like the setting of it. It was cool. My number 2 is House of a Thousand Corpses. For everything we said. Was it this week or last week? I can't even remember now. Last week.
Last week.
For everything we said last week, that is how you do an IP house.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It was perfect.
Agreed.
But about 99% perfect. No, maybe 98, because I still think Jack Presents 25 Years of Monster Mayhem was 100% perfect.
Mm-hmm.
My number 1, no surprise to anyone, is Yeti. It was amazing. It was everything I want a Halloween Horror Nights house to be. I said it was beautiful. There was some awesome scares in there if you got scared. There was some great set piece moments. It was cold. It gave everything it promised and more.
And that's why it became my number 1 as well.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Nice.
And yes, you were raving about it the entire time.
Yes.
So,
and hasn't stopped since. See, that's it. Yeti's my number 1. It was originally my number 10.
Yeah, I think Michelle helped.
Yeah.
So I went through that with her more times than I went through any house with anybody else, I think, and she scared the out of me more than anybody else did.
You see, for me, that's it. That's what knocked Clowns down. Because it wasn't a scary house.
But it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't. But the Yeti house had everything. It had a bit of humour. It had scares. It had amazing sets and set pieces.
It is
and the atmosphere.
Quintessential Halloween Horror Nights house.
They just need to roll that out as is every single year.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Not Darren's. I won't hold it against you much.
If we all like the same thing, there'd be one house.
No, it's been really interesting actually to see where everyone's got different stuff. There's definitely some differing of opinions, without a doubt. I mean, look at Nightingales.
Some may say wrong opinions, but gold bars. And
I think the biggest. I don't know which is the biggest shocker actually at this point. You are not having Killer Clowns as your number 1, or Chris having Depths of Fear as his.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, Chris, you are entitled to your opinion, and I'm happy that house did it for you. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Should have known he's always out on boats and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fresh
true.
guy. Yeah.
That's what it was.
I think if Yeti hadn't
All
been
the
my
salt
number,
water was just.
Messing with his brain.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to drink it, Chris.
Oh.
I think you would have been more shocked if Yeti hadn't been the number one over Killer Clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Very.
Yeah, that was a nice list there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All the different opinions.
It's nice to be on different pages. I think we've said before, when we do a lot of like our top fives and stuff like that, we usually
Yeah.
somewhere on the same sort of page, aren't we? And it's nice to be different from each other.
I only had
Yeah.
one that didn't move in its ranking,
Which was
which was House of a Thousand Corpses. That was fourth.
I don't
Same for
actually know.
me,
Yeah. Until
I think.
earlier today, I
Let's have a
had
look.
Depths of Fear at 7 and 7.
And the other interesting thing is, if we all would have done the houses once, I think our list would have been different as well.
Oh, without a
absolutely,
doubt.
Absolutely.
It depends how you get that run of the house.
Without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Again, what was it? Ghostbusters was bottom of my list. It was top of my list on the hype list. Dropped to the bottom because every night I was kind of writing down things.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it started going through and doing different runs, finally got a good run. It bumped up 4 spots in there. So
Yeah.
it just really depends how you hit the house. And then if you get a perfect hit on everything, which is very difficult to do, then you go, okay, now which one is best to me
I think
or to you?
it really proves that I know some people, you can't help it. You can only go one night. But if you can, I think it really proves that you need to do multiple nights, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
So bring on
Okay.
Halloween Horror Nights 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, so that's going
sorry.
to wrap things up for us this week. We will end another episode there with another Universal Is. Now, if you want to be involved, just send us what you think Universal is to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com.
Yeah, we haven't had any for a while, actually. So people, come on.
Send us in. If you've done it, do it again. And
They're
again.
pulling us off the bench.
Yeah.
I've never pulled you off the bench.
So send us those Universal Is to podcast@uuopodcast.com, and we will share them on the show. Now, this week we have a special listener who also is on the show. His name's Darren.
He might be a listener next week after his bloody list.
And Darren, why don't you tell us what Universal is?
To me, Universal is where everything begins.
Oh.
See you
See
next
you
week.
next week.
Cut, print. That's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.